Hey guys, it's Alana. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to bring you a video of books I'm going to give another chance. So in this pile of books, there are books that I've started at least 1 or 2 times and I've DNF'd. There's one book in here that I've tried probably more than 5 times and I DNF it every time. But for 2018, one of my goals is to try to read at least 1 or 2 of these books a month. Like, try to add 1 or 2 of them to my TBR of that month so that I can get them read. So let's just start with it, because there's quite a few, and when I was going through my bookshelf and picking them, I was so disappointed in myself, because I used to be a person who didn't not finish books, but there's quite a few here. So excuse me, sorry, I'm getting sick, and that sounded really gross. I'm really sorry. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 books. Is this? Nope. Okay, so technically there's 12, but I didn't grab the other one. But Fallen by Lauren Kate. I don't know how to insert like pictures in my videos, so yeah, you can look it up. You probably know what book I'm talking about. I read that book in middle school. I never finished it. I got like halfway through the book and then I didn't want to read it anymore. But I do have that book, and recently my cousin gave me the last 3 in the series, so I do need to pick it up again so that I can get to the other books. But that's one. The next book is The Cellar by Natasha Preston. She's a Wattpad sensation, whatever. I read, let's see, 104 pages of this book before I DNF'd it. I just thought that this was really stupid, honestly. A lot of people really love this book, and I don't really understand why too much, because I wanted to love this book, I did, but I really didn't like the concept of it. It's about a girl who gets kidnapped by this guy who probably has mental issues because he wants a family, basically. There's like 3 other girls in the basement, or the cellar, I believe, and he renames them all after flowers. It's just really weird, and it goes back and forth between the perspective of the guy and her, the main character, which I think her name is Summer. I can't really remember. Yeah, I'm Summer. You have the wrong person, blah blah blah. Anyways, yeah. I think she was on her way to a party and then she gets kidnapped by this guy. It's just really weird. I do plan on rereading it only because I want to understand what the hell is going on in this book. It's freaking crazy. I don't know if this book is still on a Wattpad, but honestly, if I were you, I would check first, because then maybe you can read it for free. When I picked up this book, I was just in Barnes & Noble one day and I saw it and I thought it was really interesting. I didn't even read the fact that it said Wattpad on here, because I could have probably checked and read it for free instead of paying $10 for this book that I DNF'd. Next book. This book has a lot of hype and I just couldn't do it. I read the first 2 chapters and I was like, I just can't get into it. And it's probably because it's fantasy, because I have an issue with getting into fantasy. But that's Red Rising. I do plan on picking up this book again just because I want to know what all the hype is about. And I do have the second book, so I want to get to it. But it was just difficult for me to get into. Let me know your thoughts on that, because I don't think I'm the only person that had an issue with that book, but a lot of people like pushed through, and you know, they say it gets better as the books go on, and then there's another book coming out soon, so that's another reason why I want to read it. This next book I hate with all the passion in my being, all my life, all my heart and soul. I hate this book so much. If you've seen previous videos, I've talked about this book and said that I wanted to use it to start a fire, and that's Diary of an Oxygen Thief by Anonymous. I have read 39 pages of this book. Every time I try to read this book again, this is the book that I've started more than 5 times. It's just the main character just pisses you off so much. Like, he demeans women, and he like basically makes women fall in love with him, and then he breaks their heart. That's what he does. And it's following him doing that. It explains why he did that, but I still want to finish the book because I really want to understand in depth why he does what he does. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. I want to know if he ends up changing in the end. Like, he doesn't even feel bad, which is why I get so angry, because it's like, why are you doing that to people? It's so sad. And then a lot of the girls are stupid too, because he treats them like shit and then they still want to be with him, and it's like, what's wrong with you people? The next book is City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. I started this book like right after City of Bones. I got to page 27, which is chapter 2. But then I DNF'd it because I wanted to take a break from this series. I really didn't like how City of Bones ended between, you know, Jace and, is her name Clary or whatever? I can't even remember their names, but if you've read the books, then you know what I'm talking about. That ending really upset me. I don't want to spoil anything in case you haven't read the books, but if you read it, you know why it upset me, because Jace and Clary, I thought that they were going to be something, and then there's something that means that they can't, or it's just wrong. So, you know, I probably just gave it away with that, but you know, I really don't care. The next book I have read 57 pages of. That's Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I only DNF'd this book because I just, like I said, couldn't get into it. I think it was because I saw the movies already. I do plan on reading the Harry Potter series because I have the whole box set with the pretty castle on the spines. So I spent my money on this beautiful set of books that I want to get read, and there's a lot of hype surrounding them. And I think that when there's a lot of hype surrounding a book, it's really hard for me to get into it, but I do plan on trying again. Obviously, that's what this video is about. The next book I only read 21 pages of, and that's Final Girls by Riley Sager. This book wasn't that bad. I don't know why I put it down. Maybe I was in a reading slump or something, but it really wasn't that bad. This book is just about, I guess, I don't even know how to explain it, so just look it up. I'm just gonna move on. The next book. This book was interesting to me, but I still DNF'd it just because I just thought it was weird. And another thing, fantasy. I gotta stop picking up fantasy because it looks like that's just something that I don't really like too much. So Cinder by Marissa Meyer. This book has a lot of hype too. I think also, if you notice, all of these books are also YA, so I think YA fantasy is something that's not for me. This book is really cool. It's like a Cinderella retelling, except she's like a cyborg or something. I thought the concept was really cool. I started reading it, but again, I couldn't get into it, so I DNF'd it. But I do plan on going back to it because I do have the second book, which I think is Scarlet or something. Yeah, Scarlet. So I do want to get back into this. I heard it's really good. I heard the books get better, so I want to try again. The next book is called The Takedown by Corey Wang. I don't remember how many pages I read. Oh yeah, here's a bookmark. I read 9 pages before I DNF'd it. I think I DNF'd it because I wanted to read something else, but this book was really good. I haven't got to the part of like what happened, but I do know that this girl gets blackmailed for something. I think it was a video gets sent out to everything about her doing something she shouldn't be doing with a teacher, but it turns out it wasn't really her. But I don't know. That's the synopsis, so I'm not spoiling it because I haven't even read it, but that's the synopsis that I heard. It sounds really good. It was really good when I read the first 9 pages of it, so I do plan on reading this book. I think this is going to be on my TBR for January because I'm trying to branch out and not read just thrillers and horror books, but I want to read more YA, and I want to try to get into fantasy and all those other genres. I really want to get into dystopian because I have some really interesting dystopian novels on my to-buy list, so let me know if you know any good dystopian stories. The next book is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. This book has a lot of hype. It's really popular and all that good stuff. I really want to read Carry On, so I want to read this book first because Carry On kind of has to do with what the main character does for a living. I can't really explain what this book is about because I don't really know myself. I like to go into my books not knowing anything about them because I feel like it's more enjoyable that way. That's why I can't really explain what these books are about, so I'm sorry about that. But you can always go on Goodreads and read it yourself. Usually they put it better than I can say anyway. I have the exclusive collector's edition, which is really neat because on the inside it has some artwork. I think on this side it does too, yeah. It has some really neat artwork, and I think this is like for carry on. I just really want to read it. I got this at Target. It has a cool little bookmark string thingy, and then under it is pink, and it says Fangirl in turquoise, or oh, it just has a coffee cup. So it's really pretty. It's really neat. All of these books are like brand new. Like I buy these books, I try to read them, and then they get DNF'd, and it's so sad, which is why I'm trying to not do that to myself anymore. The next book I got in a Nocturnal Reader's box. I only read 4 pages of it before I just stopped reading it just because there's nothing wrong with the actual book. It was actually really good. And that's Cold Moon Over Babylon by Michael McDowell. I keep hearing a lot of things about the author, how he's really good. This book was really good so far. It is really good so far. The only thing I don't like is how tiny the words are. I mean, look at how tiny that is. If I had a vision problem, I probably wouldn't be able to read this without a magnifying glass. That's the only downfall of this book. And there are so many pages, which is probably why he made the lettering so small. The pages are also really shiny, so that's really interesting as well. But yeah, I do plan on getting back into that one. Last but not least, oh, also before this one, I also want to add Gerald's Game by Stephen King. I started reading that book, and because I wanted to read it before I watched the Netflix movie that came out when it did come out, but I ended up not being able to wait because my parents watched it and they really liked it, so I was like, I can't just go without not seeing it. So I saw it first, and now I just really need to read the book. Another book that I DNF'd was Stephen King by It by Stephen King. That was weird that I said it that way. But It by Stephen King. I had a really big trouble getting into that book, and I think it was just because of the fact that the book is so huge. It was kind of intimidating, but I do plan on reading and finishing that book. So, yes. And now, last but not least, is Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. The third book comes out in 2018, I think, so I kind of need to hurry up and read this one and then read the second one. I really liked this book. I can't even tell you why I DNF'd it. I think I was going through a reading slump, which that happens often, but I'm working on that. But this book was actually really good, and I know it's considered sci-fi, I believe, and I do have trouble with fantasy and sci-fi, but it's easier for me to get into sci-fi than fantasy for some reason. So I don't see myself having trouble with this book at all. I just have to make myself read. In 2018, I'm going to make myself read. There is no excuse for reading slumps anymore because I did terrible in the ending of 2017. Like, I didn't read nothing in November. I don't even know if I read anything in October. I didn't read anything this month, December, so I just need to start over and actually at least read 2 or 3 books a month. I think I would be happy with that. I want to go for more than that, but if I set a small realistic goal, then it's easier for me to beat that goal, if that makes any sense. Also, look at my cute new slippers. It's the unicorn from the Minions. It's cute. They sell them at Torrid, if you're wondering where to get them. I buy all of my stuff from Torrid because I have a Torrid credit card. They're really expensive. You kind of need a credit card if you're going to shop from them. Yeah. It was only like 13 bucks for those slippers. And I think that's it. I think that's all that I started to read and didn't finish. So, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know if you've read any of these books. Let me know how you liked them, what you didn't like about them. Just let me know your thoughts on any of these books if you've read them. Also, thank you so much to my new subscribers. I've acquired quite a few new people, so I appreciate you guys so much. We're getting really close to the 100 subscriber mark, Just make sure that if you want to be entered into the giveaway that you go to that video, you watch it, follow the instructions, because just because you're subscribed doesn't mean that you're entered. You have to be subscribed and comment on that video which book that I listed in the video you want to be entered to win. Because if you don't comment saying what book you want to be entered to win, when I go to write all the names down, if you're not there, then obviously I can't write your name down. So if you want to be entered into the giveaway, please go over there and do so. It is US and international. I'm probably going to say that in like every video just so everybody knows. But yes, we're really close and I'm so excited because I want these books to go to people who are subscribed to me so that they can be read and cherished and shared. It's so exciting. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time with another one. Bye!